Welcome to my space. Let's take 3 deep breaths together, gathering your energy back on the in-breath, on the exhale, slowing down and spiraling into that deeper, slower space. Deep breath in. Ooh. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. I am here. 10 years ago, I had a car accident 10 years ago this week. So I've been thinking about it a lot, meditating on the lessons that came from that experience. And one of those is the idea of the I am. I am here. I am. Period. No disclaimers, no adjectives, no definitions behind it, just I am. One of the things that was really difficult for me about the car accident was that I could not perform any of the roles or duties that I had been doing 100 miles an hour up till that point. I was in bed for a very long time. I had a severe concussion and a lot of body pain. So it took me completely out, and I had to really rethink, who am I if I'm not the person who's doing all of these things, if I'm not doing this role, if I'm not in this experience, if I'm not performing or producing, am I even worth anything simply by laying in bed and breathing? It was a really difficult experience. But in the end, it made me come all the way down to the essence of Emie, the I am, which I believe is our divine soul essence, right? So I was chatting about this with a friend of mine recently as well, and she's not in a severe car accident, and she is able to still keep going, and yet how can you practice finding the true I am, the essence of divine soul, when you can still produce? So it's one of the things that I do with my womb wisdom clients. It's a very important piece of learning how to slow down and drop in. It's why I do the breath at the beginning of every one of these things. It's just a tiny practice of slowing down and bringing your consciousness outside of the thinking mind into a different consciousness of embodied space, the I am. So it's just bringing your awareness. There's several pictures that I use. Imagining dropping a little pebble into a very still lake. And you're following that pebble as it sinks all the way down in. See if you can find a still point. Sometimes if people have a hard time dropping down in from the head down, you can feel into your roots down deep in your feet. And on the in-breath, you're going to pull up your consciousness from the roots up into the womb space or the pelvic bowl. And sometimes that's a little bit easier because you're not having to imagine making it all the way down through your brain and your body into that deeper, slower space. So let's try that. From the roots up, you're going to contact your roots. On the in-breath, you're going to gather your energy up from the roots and land in the pelvic bowl or the womb. See if you can find the I am. I am here. And it's such a resting place for me as I feel into the I am inside of my body. So it's a lot of practice. I've been doing this practice for several years. I was fascinated by the I am when I was in Christianity, and the fact that Jesus could speak to an entire crowd of people who were accusing him, and when they ask who he was, he says, "I am." And there was so much power on it that the story goes, many in the crowd fell over just with his statement of I am. He was so connected to that divine essence in his own body being, that the power that came forth just from the I am energy knocked people over. So as I meditate on that in my own experience of my own body, part of what I'm visualizing, I mean, I have lots of different visualizations. It's not about the thing we're visualizing, right? It's not the images we're playing with. It's it's the divine essence. Can you access the divine essence? And the images and the meditations help you get there, but they aren't the thing. So, I've led many people into this space, and after a while of practicing with an image, they find they don't need the image. It's just, I am here. Oof. And it just drops you right in immediately. One of the other ways that I've been playing with it recently is I've had a ton of mind chatter, and many of us are in death portals, death and rebirth, and that's significant for this season right now, too. It's mid-April and 2025, and Easter is right around the corner for us. The resurrection story is present. Um, I'm playing with the death resurrection story constantly. It's all over in nature. It's sun dying, rising again in the morning. It's the moon go dark and coming back in full. It's the bleed, if you are a bleeding human with your menstrual cycle. It's the life, death, rebirth cycle all month, every month. So I'm playing with it all the time, but this is a season where we honor spring, the new life coming forward, the resurrection. Venus is a cycle that I follow, and it is a death resurrection story. Inanna's story, actually, I've said this before, but since we're here, Inanna's story is the oldest death resurrection story of a deity in recorded history. Um, I think it dates back to 1600 BC or 2000 BC, somewhere in that range, far before Jesus' story. So if you're a female body and you are looking for a death resurrection story template that features the feminine energy, she is my favorite, although there's many goddesses that you could choose from in that as well. Um, so this life, death, rebirth, if we can get good at following these cycles, feeling into and locating ourselves in the cycle, and I think what I was saying is that I've had a lot of mind chatter recently. I'm in a letting go of a lot of things, waiting for this rebirth, or in the the rebirth portal, the birth canal, whatever imagery you want to use. I'm in it and feeling that this I am space is such a resting place inside of me when the experiences are a lot, when the mind chatter is a lot, when the sensations in my body, when old story is really up or triggered for me. And it has been in the last few weeks, actually, last few months. But the practice of dropping into this safer, slower I am. No roles, no adjectives, no reason added onto that, just pure and simple I am. I am here. And then sometimes I will add, I am noticing this emotion. I am noticing these crazy thoughts moving through. I am noticing this pattern that's up. I am noticing this trigger, but the I am is the loving awareness that's holding these experiences that I'm in the middle of. And my life is just a lot more calm. I am a lot more calm. I'm a lot less reactionary. It's a very beautiful practice. So, in honor of my embodied, learned experience from my car accident a decade ago, in honor of the death resurrection of the Jesus story, in honor of the sun and the moon and the blood mysteries and Inanna's story connected to Venus of life, death, and rebirth. May you locate yourself. Where are you? And maybe different parts of your life are in different parts of that cycle. And you're not alone and you're not crazy. Life, death, rebirth keeps happening. If you can surrender into those processes, if you can learn to slow down and access that resting space, the powerful I am in the very center of your being, it is the unchanging space. You will be able to access your truth. You will be able to access your power. You will be able to access your joy, and you will be able to flow with the seasons and cycles of life in more beautiful ways. So, if you'd like to reach out or need support in that, it's my joy and delight to support you in your life, death, rebirth cycles. And may you enjoy the energy of spring and resurrection. I will be back. I hope you will be too.